Hello everybody and welcome back to Will a Wonderful World for episode 12. Now at the end of the last episode we got a new letter for someone new, and it seems this is going to be the only letter that they are going to have for the entirety of this game, I'm assuming, unless another one for some reason appears sooner. I don't know how that would happen, but you never know. It seems to be going everywhere with this game. We don't have any other new ones. Park's letters are not over. Carlos is still not over. Alicia is not over. Oh, we do have a new one for her, and we have a new one for Lee Win. I think I'm going to start with the new character just because he has his letter on his own. So let's just go right on ahead, and I don't have any new messages, so let's continue. Oh, he was with Lee Win and Alicia's was on her own? Okay, I was wrong. Alright, I guess we will start with Alicia then. What? Excuse me? Okay. Thursday. On the side of a bush-covered hill 2 kilometers away from Tayo Road. Through the scope of my M110, I was staring at a factory 1 kilometer away. There was no other vantage point around the factory, so this was the closest FFP available. FFP? Final firing position. Okay, I see. The wind speed was at 4.3 meters per second, and there were no signs of that changing. Mil.4, -2. I had laid out the bullets next to me in a straight line, warming them up in the sun. Who the fuck? That's Alicia. But what the hell is what is going on for her? This is completely new. That looks like a little giraffe, right there, if you can see that. 2:10 p.m. A small yellow sedan drove up to the factory entrance. Loading. The door opened, and a woman with a full head of fiery red hair got out of the car. Her name was Li Hua. She was the head of the firearm smuggling team in the Blood Gang. Aiming. I pulled the trigger. What happened to it? Why did her stories completely change? Is this really just like a different line for that character? Like a different, storyline, I suppose, or a different universe? I pulled the trigger. The target was down. I saw a flash from a window on the 2nd floor of the factory. There was another sniper aiming at me. The bullet pierced and shattered the scope. I jerked myself to the side. The bullet didn't go through my eye as my opponent had hoped, but it did give me a severe injury. The right side of my face felt like it was burning, as if it was on fire. Well, yeah, you just had a bullet shave off some of it. I lowered my body and slid down the other side of the slope. I got onto the motorcycle that I had prepared in advance. However, on the way back, my consciousness began drifting away and I lost control of the vehicle. The bike tumbled headfirst into a ditch. Blood was mixing with muddy water in the ditch. It was black and red everywhere. While Li Hua had been killed, completing a mission like this was rather embarrassing. Perhaps this wasn't the right job for me after all. Alicia. What? What am I supposed to do with this? What the fuck is even going on with Alicia right now? I am so confused. Okay, one sec. Okay, not too sure how exactly this is going to change things, but we shall see. It says, I saw a flash from the window on the 2nd floor, so there was a sniper aiming at me. She pulled the trigger, the bullet pierced and shattered the scope, so maybe that means that she would shoot the sniper through the scope and kill him, because it says the target was down. That's just what I'm going to assume. We shall see. My bullet pierced and shattered my opponent's scope and skull. Yep, I got it right. Meanwhile, while I was distracted, the red-haired woman had disappeared from my sight. I lowered my body and slid down the other side of the slope. I got onto the motorcycle that I had prepared in advance. They would no doubt be enhancing their security after this. I had failed my first mission. I didn't know how to report back to Ray. The noise from the engine echoed through the valley, and it sounded like a growl from an upset monster that no one could see, making me feel even more unsettled. She says report back to Ray. Is that, King Ray, or whatever they called him, the leader of the Blood Gang? So, she's with them now, I guess? This is really confusing. I have no idea what's going on. Well, I got a rank A ending, even though she failed her mission. At least she didn't die. Let's see what else we can do here. Okay, let's see if this changes anything. So, she pulls the trigger and shoots, and the target goes down, and then a bullet pierces and shatters the scope. I'm assuming she shot the lady she came to kill. I don't remember her name. The red-haired lady, whatever her name is. And gets shot by the sniper, but at least she kills whoever it is, and then they shoot. Well, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure because she notices the sniper before she pulls the trigger, and they die. Let's see. Ooh, it does change the outcome. Don't know exactly how so, but we shall see. I could see in the scope that my opponent had dodged my killing shot. What? I'm confused. What? Nevertheless, I had earned enough time to disengage. I don't see how that led to her opponent dodging the shot, but okay, game. Let's go with that. I mean, you're completely going with the logic that somehow Alicia is some super really good agent, that marksman that knows exactly what she's doing somehow. Meanwhile, while I was distracted, the red-haired woman had disappeared from my sight. I lowered my body and slid down the other side of the slope. I got onto the motorcycle that I had prepared in advance. So, okay. I'd failed my first mission, didn't know how to report back to Ray. Okay, yep. Well, that was an even worse ending because she didn't kill either of them. What if she gets shot at before she kills that person? I'm not again, I'm not sure. Okay, that's going to be the exact same ending. That is okay. Okay, this is a different ending. She pulled the trigger, and then the person shot at her, went through the scope, and then the target goes down. I'm not sure. Let's see. The bullet was right in front of my right eye. I had only one thought on my mind, just as it was about to pierce my skull. Oh, she died? What? Okay. I'm sorry, Ray. But that's it. Bad ending. I really don't know what else I can do to make things better for her. Because literally the only difference between a rank A ending and this X ending is that she pulls the trigger. For the A ending, she pulls the trigger after she sees the flash from the window. I'm not sure. God dang. Okay, this is a new combo, I think. I haven't tried this yet, with the target going down, and then she pulls the trigger. Not sure exactly what's going to happen here. Okay, this is a different ending. I jerked myself to the side. The bullet didn't go through my eye as my opponent had hoped, but it did give me a severe injury. The right side of my face felt like it was burning, as if it was on fire. I lowered my body and slid down the other side of the slope. Got onto the motorcycle that I'd prepared in advance. Okay. So she passes out again. Blood mixing with the muddy water. Mission had been a complete failure. So she didn't kill either of them, and she got hurt. Alright. The bullet was fired along my calculated trajectory, but Lihua, I'm gonna go with Lihua, was able to drop down and dodge it at the last moment. Dang it, okay, what if... Ooh! You know what? What if the target's already dead, she shot once, and then a sniper points at her like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And he's about to shoot her, but then she shoots him. Because she's that excellent of a fucking marksman for whatever. Okay, good. Another ending. Hopefully, maybe this will be a good ending? Because that seems like the, Oh. I could see in the scope that my opponent had dodged my killing shot. Nevertheless, I had earned enough time to disengage. Mission accomplished. Oh, okay, so she did... Okay, she killed the redhead woman, but the sniper dodged her bullet. That's fine, that's fine. I lowered my body and slid down the other side of the slope. I got onto the motorcycle that I had prepared in advance, and I rode away faster than a breeze. Ride like the wind! No, I'm kidding. I reported the news to Ray in the luxury suite on the top floor of Melody Hall. He was very happy. I have something for you. Ray picked up his coat from the floor and pulled a small box out from its pocket. He then handed it to me with his left hand. It's a shame I can't help you put it on. Later, I put the glamorous jeweled necklace into my special treasure box collection. Then I took out a necklace with a cross on it out of the box. It was the necklace that I had worn ever since I was a kid. I put it into an envelope, and I wanted it to mail it to my brother. Over the last 4 years, I had been regularly sending money to the orphanage back home. Aunt Benita had also written back to me a couple times. What? This must be like an alternate timeline or something. I'm so lost. She told me that Carlos had been doing well, and that he had worked very hard in school. Carlos must have been all grown up now. He must have become a fine young man. I really wish that one day I could get a letter written by him. Well, you know what? We're going to make that happen. Yes! Okay, Raincast ending. Alright, I'm still so confused. Maybe because it's a branching path, that means it's a separate timeline. But I'm not sure how this is saying, I think, that this happened after all of the shit with her poisoning that man and getting kidnapped and all of that. But that doesn't make sense since she's still writing the letters back to the orphanage for Carlos, who is in China right now. I'm confused. Very confused. But okay, let's get to this new person and Li Wen. I guess we'll start with Li Wen, Troubles in the Middle of Summer. The weather had been getting warmer. I sat on the roof of the classroom building, watching the boys down on the basketball court. They were trying to compete to see who looked the coolest while making a shot. Of course. So childish, yes. Indeed. A few days ago, photos of me and Mr. Wen had been posted on the school BBS, and it had gone viral in school. I had to explain the whole thing to Miss Yang and even the school's supervisor. People in the school eventually learned that we were just neighbors, and we had not been living together. Still, there were some trashy people who insisted that it was not a coincidence that we were living so close, even though it is. They didn't even know each other, and I think Mr. Wen wasn't even a teacher whenever they had started living together initially. There were even some more blatant people who had followed me after school. However, those people were not going to get anything, because ever since that day, I had not seen him myself. He hadn't come to school. He hadn't been home either. The lights had been off every night. I didn't have the courage to go knock on his door, even though it was right next to mine. Maybe he had moved away, since I had brought him too much trouble? Just when my mind was racing all over the place, I got a text message from Jing. Breaking news, Mr. Wen is back. The art class this afternoon will resume as normal. I couldn't believe my eyes. However, he must have gone missing all these days because of the photos and everything. If I went to his class, wouldn't people in class gossip about us? Then I would be causing him even more trouble. But if I didn't go, people would still be gossiping, right? What should I do? The dessert today in the school cafeteria was yogurt. I opened a cup, but then didn't really have much of an appetite for it. So I just left it on the table. It was so hot today. I moved my hand and knocked it over. What does that have to do with the heat? I'm confused, okay. The yogurt spilled all over the floor, making a big white mess. I took out some napkins and wiped the floor absent-mindedly. By the time I was done, the art class was already over. I lay on the roof, staring at the gray sky. I don't know too many schools that let kids get up on the roof. I mean, again, I'm going to reiterate, I haven't been to China and I haven't gone to school in China, but I don't think they just let them get on the roofs of schools. But I might be wrong. I don't know. Another text from Jing. The classroom was full today. You should have been there to see how I shut those people up for bad-mouthing you. Oh, and at the end of the class, Mr. Wen tore up everybody's sketches. This man. I probably should have gone to the class. What should I do about the class the day after tomorrow? Li Wen. I don't know what to tell you, Li Wen, but we got another person's letter here. I'm assuming Jing, maybe? No, it's a guy. Rocky, maybe? At the 113th minute, Mario Gotzi I'm assuming he stopped the ball and kicked a perfect shot. Goal! Argentina had lost in the World Cup final. It was over. Game over. So, you're from Argentina. Okay. Just want to be clear, man. I just want to know where you're from. Oh, come on. I had stayed up the whole night for this? I pounded the table as hard as I could. No one was going to complain anyways. Everyone had already gone home. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here watching the final all by myself. Gaokao had been over a month ago. My best friends were all traveling around the country. No, around the globe. One would have to be completely nuts to still be living in the school dorm. Yes, I was talking about myself. Well, Jimmy too. Oh, I guess this is Rocky. Okay. Since my family was moving and my parents were both too busy with their jobs, they had told me to stay at school for a couple more days, god dang it. What was worse, I had to be in charge of moving myself, so I was unable to go out and enjoy myself. The last summer of my high school. Gone like this? I didn't know what Jimmy had been up to recently. See, it wasn't even 5 a.m. yet and he was already gone. Well, we wouldn't be spending too many more days together anyways. Jimmy had said his father's business seemed to be going well now, so they would be going back to Hong Kong soon. I had told him I'd like to do a formal send-off for him. By formal, I just meant getting some grilled chicken wings at the grill bar near school. Sounds about formal to me. He said it wasn't necessary. What a killjoy that this Hong Kongese. What? Is that a phrase? Hong Kongese. Okay. I was too tired. I decided to eat that apple before I went back to bed. I rinsed the apple off. That apple? I don't think he mentioned an apple before. Okay. I rinsed the apple off and put it on the desk, but I accidentally knocked it onto the floor. You dare hide from me, Apple? I'm gonna wash you again and you're still getting eaten. Rocky, you've got a weird sense of humor, but I like you. I looked down and noticed a basin under Jimmy's bed. It was giving off a faint smell. I had a bad feeling about this. Oh god. Oh god. I'm assuming it's his restroom, for lack of a better term, I suppose. I pulled it out from under the bed out of curiosity. Oh god. Oh boy. Dear God. I don't really believe in God, but I had to call out his name. It was filled with dirty clothes and stinking socks, all submerged in water. What? What the fuck? I mean, that's not what I was thinking it was, but what? And the real problem was, who knew how long these things had been here? What? Why? Why are they there? I didn't even dare to guess the age of the little mushrooms that were growing and thriving on them. Oh my god. What the fuck? Was he having, like, some sort of science experiment? What the shit? A strong sour smell filled the air. Just like that, it was sitting in the middle of our room for over an hour. Jimmy finally came back. I had decided not to go to sleep just so I could confront him about this disgusting thing. I had been staring at it the entire time, and I felt like I might pass out at any moment. Jimmy, did you ever worry about us getting cancer with a chemical weapon like this in our room? Alright, I'll clean it up now. And then he just dumped the entire basin, including the mushrooms, all into the common washing machine. Dear Lord! I had to call out his name once again. Jimmy had always been a great friend. Smart, reliable, and loyal. The only problem was that he never cared about hygiene. I had always considered myself to be pretty messy, but I had never imagined I would meet someone even worse. I was stunned. Rocky. Yep, I knew it was Rocky. I mean, that was kind of confirmed once he said that he was living with Jimmy. Hey, I just realized. Have Jimmy and Rocky both graduated from high school already? Li Wen's letter was about something that happened not long after the previous incident. She must still be in high school, right? You're right. Even though their letters arrived together for us, the events they experienced might not have happened at the same time. Okay, now you explain this to me. Thanks, Willie, because this entire time I've thought that meant that they were going on at the same time. That's literally what I've been working with. Thanks, Willie. In fact, they could have happened days apart, or months, years, even centuries apart. What? For us, time is not an absolute concept. It's only relative. So then why would they come in at the same time for us? That isn't... okay. When we receive their letters, it is purely determined by the casual links among them. Okay, causal links, not casual. For example, we have received a letter saying that Jimmy would be going back to Hong Kong after graduation. That means this event was already bound to happen. I see. I think I see. I'm not entirely sure. It was... Oh gosh. What if he knocks it over? And what about... I have no idea. Okay, both of them are going to change. I don't know how things are going to change for Lee Win, other than the yogurt not getting knocked over, but... I lay on the roof staring at the gray sky. I was counting the clouds. To go, not to go, to go, not to go. I didn't know how many I had counted before I fell asleep. Oh, you just... falling asleep on top of the school. It's completely normal. That's what normal children do. Or normal people, rather, I should say, because I don't know exactly how old you are. I didn't wake up until it was already dark. There was a new text message on my phone. The classroom was full today. You should have been there to see how I shut those people up for bad-mouthing you. Oh, and at the end of the class, Mr. Wynn tore up everybody's sketches. This guy. I probably should have gone to the class. What should I do about the class the day after tomorrow? So, nothing really changed for her other than she fell asleep. Okay. Jimmy had always half-assed everything, and he had never followed through with anything. He would never learn if I didn't teach him a lesson this time. Plus, I really couldn't stand this any longer. His dirty clothes and the quote-unquote mushrooms had spilled on the floor, with the smelly water flooding throughout throughout the room. Ah, here came the star of the show. Jimmy just walked in. He let out a grunt of surprise and immediately walked over to his bed to pick up his precious gaming console. Priorities, Jimmy. I like you. I like you. Not really, but I like you. He had even stepped over a few mushrooms. You win. Jimmy recognized my anger and started cleaning the room without a word. As long as he had learned his lesson. The end of high school. I don't know why I got an achievement for that, but okay. I don't know what that means. Okay, rank S ending for him, but not a rank S ending for her. What if I swap those around? Okay, nothing changes. Okay. So he got an S rank ending. That's the only possible S rank ending for him, I'm assuming. How was that an S rank ending? He poured a fucking thing all over his floor. And she got an X rank ending. Let me see. What if I just swapped them between each other? Okay, good. Good. Rockies is not going to change, but Lee Win will. Maybe it will be a rank S ending for some reason. The yogurt tasted stranger than usual. Had it gone bad, maybe? Well, that would actually be great for me. I could just go hide in the infirmary with a stomachache as my excuse. With such a legitimate reason, nobody should be able to say anything anymore. I held my breath and drank the whole cup. The art classroom was on the way to the infirmary. I couldn't help myself, so I sneaked up to the back door and tried to peek inside through the small glass window on the door. They were doing sketch practice today. Mr. Wynn was standing with his back towards me, looking at Rocky's sketch. What was Rocky drawing that Mr. Wynn would be watching so closely? I stood up on my toes. He suddenly turned around. Thank God I crouched down just in time. However, the sudden movement must have caused my stomach to start hurting. It felt like it was a bad cramp. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad. I finally got to the infirmary with a hand pressed against my stomach and stayed there until the end of school. Rank A ending for her. I don't know how to change things for her. I didn't think that was going to change anything. Just like that, it was sitting in the middle of the room. What Okay, that didn't change anything. Let's see if that changes anything. No, it does not. How the hell? Okay, so it was so hot twice in front with, I moved my hand and just like that. Okay, things are not going to change for Lee Wen. She's still going to have a bad ending, I think. Jimmy finally came back. His gaming console was lying in the middle of the spilled water like an island in the middle of a dark lake. He lost it. How dare you break my console? How dare you not wash your clothes for so long? Yeah, they were sitting on a fucking tin with water. Why? That's none of your business. Oh, but it is, and it's not even the first time. What are you talking about? I'm talking about those photos that you secretly took. I'm the one who posted them. Whoa. Rocky, why did you post them? What is wrong with you, Rocky? I thought you were friends with Lee Wen. What did you just say? You have a crush on Lee Wen, right? You even stalked her. You're such a psycho and a loser. If you really like her, why didn't you just tell her already? None of your business. Jimmy tossed his console away and lunged at me. We were wrestling and rolling in on all of the dirty water until the RA pulled us apart. He made it clear that if we hadn't already graduated, he would have made sure that we suffered the most severe consequences. That night, Jimmy and I went to the grill bar near school and ate an unhealthy amount of chicken wings. If they hadn't already graduated, but they're still in the dorms. I don't know how quickly you have to move out after you graduate, but I kind of assumed that you couldn't be there for very long. Maybe a week at most if I had to imagine. Don't know. That was the end of our high school era. I would miss it. Bunk bros say goodbye to the high school days with a barbecue. I got an achievement for that. Okay, we got a rank A ending for both of them. Fuck it, I'll come back. Whoa! Rank A, it's white. And it has a star. Is that the best possible ending for him? I'm guessing it is, but I can't move on because I haven't got any new letters. Well, I can come back here to Chang and Kang and see if I can get a better outcome for them. Not sure what I'm gonna change, but let's see. Oh my god. I feel like an idiot. I could have... This whole time, I didn't realize that this wasn't black. I could have moved this down here this entire time. Okay, this is a different outcome. Okay, things are changing. This is a new ending for both of them. Let's see what the hell happens. Oh my god, I feel like an idiot. I felt blood rushing to my head and I picked up the gun. Then I turned back to the armory and slammed it on the desk. Thud. I dropped to the ground on my knees. Sir, I have to tell you something. Becoming a police officer has always been my dream ever since I was a kid. I've always thought that one day, when I finally became a police officer, I would be able to defend justice and help people who were in need. Even though Lieutenant King has a lousy temper, loves smoking, and is often mean to me, always has me doing paperwork and likes junk food. But as a police officer, a defender of justice, I can't just let him be in danger without doing anything. And sir, if you don't loan me a gun now, it will all be too late. The custodian turned his face back again, looking at the top half of my head behind the desk. While tears were welling up in my eyes, it was nothing compared to the river coming down his face. Silence. I stood back up and dusted off my pants. Well, I tried. Wait. The custodian wiped his face clean and put on his jacket. I can't break the rules and loan you a gun. However, I'll come with you. Oh, by the way, bring this along too. The custodian stuffed a toy gun into my hand. A toy gun? Are you kidding me right now? However, the old man seemed dead serious, so I tucked the gun into my waistband as he said, still, as a rookie cop, all I had right now was a toy gun and the custodian out of the checkout counter of the armory. I was beginning to feel uncertain about this rescue mission. Yeah. Whoa. The M134 abruptly stopped firing, then I heard the sound of metal hitting the ground. I heard lots of people yelling outside. I peeked out and saw that Choi Yo-han was lying on the ground, unconscious. His lackeys were completely frantic and running around hysterically. I didn't know what exactly had just happened, but it was my only opportunity. I charged into the crowd and took a gun from one of the mobsters. However, even with the weapon, I was still outnumbered. Just when I was about to be swamped, I saw a shadow running behind those bastards. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, but then the bastards suddenly began falling to the ground one after another, and a familiar yet annoying figure jumped up onto a huge cargo container. I can just imagine Chang coming in. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm laughing too hard at that. With his left hand beside his waist and his right hand waving some kind of strange white cloth, he shouted to the entire warehouse. Listen up, you evil bastards. Today is the day that you're going to see justice being served. By me. I'm going to arrest every single one of you and bring you all to the police station. I was 100% sure now. The only person who could say something like this without any irony was him. But hey, he's saving your fucking ass. Who knew the kid had some talent, despite always seeming a little off? Thanks to him, half an hour later, the only people still standing were all from our side. I tossed another empty gun on the ground. Another. One of those bastards were lying near my feet, and I saw half of a pack of cheap cigarettes. I wasn't feeling picky at the moment, so I lit one for myself. It seemed to help with the exhaustion a little bit. What a night. I would need a beer when I got back, before I went to sleep. I sat down on the bottom of a random body nearby. Okay then. I felt like I never wanted to get back up again. And then I looked at Cheng Yang-min. He had been jumping upside down for half an hour now. Jumping upside down? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Doing his weird karate, but he didn't seem tired at all, so I guess he was just doing some weird karate moves, I guess. Young people. You're operating without authorization. You know that, right? Yes, sir. This is me defending my justice. Yes, sir, my ass. Look at that grin of yours. And what was the deal with your voice? It was so loud that it hurt my skull. Well, whatever. That's that. Holy shit. Rank S ending for both of them. Alright, and we got new letters. Okay, cool. Give me one sec. I'm going to check on my recording time. Yeah, I have no idea how long I've been recording. I'm going to assume 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I'm probably going to be wrong once again, but I am going to just start a timer, and I'm going to go another 15 minutes and call it good. I don't think I started a timer, but I have... Okay, that's weird. I had a timer going for 30 minutes. I don't think I'm 30 minutes into this, but that would be very odd, because I don't remember setting that timer. Anyways, let's see who these new letters are for. I'm assuming Chang and Kang. No, it's a new one for Park. We get to figure out what exactly went on with him after his parents die, or his mom dying. Or no. I don't remember what happened. I'm fucking losing my mind. Gosh. But he went to a mental institute or something. That's what I learned from Spotty's letters. I don't know what happened there. Maybe this is after that. My dad had a bad temper. He often hit my mom and me. Well, we kind of already knew that. One day I knocked him out with a bottle to help Mom. I thought he would beat me up once he woke up, but I never expected that people from a mental hospital would show up at our door. These strangers were here to take me away. Mom wasn't at home. I could still hear the last word Dad ever said to me. Bastard. I was not ill. I was taken to the hospital because I was a bad child. However, everybody here would insist they were not ill. Besides, the male nurses here were all as strong as bears. They could lift me off the ground with a single hand. There was no way I could escape from here. I was put in a very small room, alone. There was a desk, a chair, and a simple bed. The sheets and blankets looked yellow, and they were covered with stains. Ugh. The walls were very dirty too, and someone had written a lot of bad words in the corners. I would try to talk with the female nurses, just to get through the day. Soon I realized as long as I kept saying nice things about them, they would tell me anything I wanted to know. I had learned from them that the hospital was not too far away from my home. They said that the president of the hospital was a relative of someone important in the government. Of course, of course. That was how the hospital had received a lot of government funding, but the president had pocketed most of it for himself. Again, that's usually how it goes. I mean, no, I kid. Corruption's not a thing nowadays. He said with much sarcasm. Anyways, they also said that the president was rarely here. The person who was really in charge was the vice president, Dr. Lee Yun-suk. Hope I said that right. Dr. Lee. Okay, good. I'm glad that he decided to shorten that for me. Dr. Lee was an expert in his field, and he always looked out for the employees. If it weren't for him, the hospital would have closed down a long time ago. It was a Tuesday. I had been here for 2 days, but I hadn't seen one doctor yet. If I could have Dr. Lee examine me, maybe he would know that I wasn't really ill and let me go home. I've been in this situation before, and I've been in the situation where I've been there waiting for a couple days to see a doctor, and he just never came for a while, and it's a scary feeling. That's one of my sort of irrational fears, I guess. Well, I don't know if you could really call it irrational, but I do have a fear that I may just, for whatever reason, be walking by a mental institution one day, and all of a sudden they'll be like, "Oh, you're a patient here, right? Like, what are you doing?" And they'll think that I'm crazy. And I guess it's more so just the fear of people thinking I'm crazy when I'm not crazy. I guess, if that makes sense. Alright, I'm just gonna move on. Ignore that. Around dinner time, I was waiting for the dinner tray to be put through the door when it opened. What kind of place do they just put the fucking dinner tray through the door? I mean, jail, sure, but this is a mental institution. What? This kid's not that crazy. He shouldn't be in, like, solitude or whatever they call it. Solitary confinement. There we go. Tall, slim male nurse stood at the door and said he would take me to see the doctor. I had never seen him before. He probably worked in another building. I followed him downstairs, across the garden, and into another building. We walked up to the 5th floor and stopped at the door of an office. The name tag on the door said Lee Yun-suk. Sorry, that name, just my pronunciation is funny to me. I sat nervously on the medical stool. It was very dark inside, and no lights were turned on. I could smell a faint scent in the room. It was only the two of us in the room. He asked a few simple questions first. To prove I was a good child, I answered all the questions honestly. Shit, I also told him something. I fucking double-clicked again because I'm retarded. You're here because you have a condition called selective cognitive impairment. Run that by me again? Dr. Lee took off his white coat and laid it on the back of his chair. Selective cognitive impairment? I mean, I'm assuming that means that only in certain instances he knows what he's doing, and in other instances, because of the selective part, that he just doesn't, like, his brain for whatever reason doesn't function right and he's not completely cognitive. In those instances, like when he beat his dad over the head with the bottle to save his mom's fucking life. I don't know. All this mental health bullshit is sort of a trigger for me, at least in the debate side of things. Because there's a lot of things that they could do differently that they don't do because they don't entirely understand it. Even though they like to think they do because they have a fucking PhD. Okay, I'm gonna stop. In other words, you have a tendency to fantasize about events. Okay, so I was wrong. I got the wrong instance, but close enough. I feel like my guess was good enough. For instance, you said your father had choked your mother with a rope, but that never happened. What? Excuse me. That did happen. ... That's not true. Dad must have lied to you. He beat me. He even poured boiling water on me. I can show you. I took off my shirt and turned my back towards him. I showed him the burn scars that went from my neck all the way to my back. That was what Dad had given me when he doused me with boiling water. Dr. Lee raised his hand and touched the scars with his fingertips. His hand was so cold that I took a deep breath. You are mistaken. It wasn't your father who did this to you. Oh my... This is already upsetting me because I know exactly where this is going. Your symptoms are quite severe. If we don't do something about it, it might very likely turn into schizophrenia. I know what that is. God damn it. This is... Okay. I'm getting heated. I turned around and saw Dr. Lee untying his tie. That would be an even worse condition. People with the condition have to be tied down to their beds. They can't go outside, not even to the bathroom. No, that's not how it goes with schizophrenia. There are thousands, if not millions, well, I don't know how many people have schizophrenia, but okay, I'm just going to go with thousands of people that are living in the world, living relatively normal lives, if not completely normal lives, that have schizophrenia. Because people have learned to live with it. Not, this is what I'm talking about. They're thinking they just need to be tied down, they can't go outside. I mean, I don't know what year this is taking place, but still, that's fucking ridiculous. Every day they need to go through electroconvulsive therapy. In more serious cases, we might even perform brain surgery on them. No. Not everyone. Not everyone. Not fucking everyone. Perhaps I was too frightened. I felt my entire body getting warm, and my knees were becoming weak. Dr. Lee held me steady. Don't be afraid, kid. As long as you do everything I tell you, one day you will fully recover. I want to beat this fucking doctor right now. Dr. Lee put his hand on my back, pushed me against his desk, and pulled down my pants. What? Oh god, I'm probably gonna have to completely cover this. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put a fucking blur on the screen. What the fuck? He pressed himself... Oh god, I'm not even sure if I can read this. I didn't want to stay, but for some reason I couldn't feel it. Oh god, I couldn't feel any strength. I didn't know what he was gonna do. I was scared. Please, doctor, let me go. Oh god. What the... Oh god, this... No. Oh god, I'm just... Okay, yeah, I'm skipping this. This is... I don't want to see this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to completely cut this out of the episode. I'm not even gonna leave this in. Wait, what? I put my index finger on the trigger and raised the gun, shaking uncontrollably. I turned to my right. I pulled the trigger. What the fuck is even going on? The mirror suddenly shattered into pieces and scattered all over the floor. Dr. Lee was seriously startled. Twisted the gun out of my hand and threw it onto the medical stool. A tall, slim nurse opened the door and peeked inside. But the moment he saw Dr. Lee shaking his head, he stepped back out again and closed the door. What the fuck? It was still just the two of us. Nothing had changed. Even though I had smashed the reflections in the mirror to smithereens, nothing had changed. I saw numerous blue eyes in the numerous broken pieces of the mirror. All of those eyes belonged to me. I was in the mirror. So, who was the person that was outside of the mirror? I couldn't seem to recognize him. This yellow-haired child... Who was he? If he's not speaking on a, I guess, sort of a philosophical level, like, losing touch with himself, like, who am I becoming kind of thing, or if it's not that, then he's having some sort of dissociative personality disorder, and that really sucks. I mean, I've never even come close to that, but that would, I used to know someone that was like that for a while because they were under the influence of some drug, I don't know what, but thankfully they finally came off whatever it was, and now they're back to normal. Thankfully, because it was kind of a scary thing to just see them, like, completely even forget who they were. Park Sang-gun. Wow. I don't even know if I want to fucking do this letter. I don't even know if I want to do this letter. I really don't even know if I want to do that letter. Okay, let's fucking read this other letter. For fucking Chang. Holy shit. Wow. This one is fucking cheery compared to the other one. Okay, I wasn't going to do another 15 minutes. I'm just going to finish. I'm going to finish reading this letter in that because holy shit. I gotta take a break from that. Holy fuck. I'm just going to read this. Like I said, I'm not going to do the endings in this episode. Holy shit. I had finally seen a true marksman today. The custodian, who loved soap operas so much that he would bawl his eyes out, had averted Lieutenant Kang's crisis with just a toy gun. And it was from such a distance. Forget about it being a toy gun. Even with a real gun, it would be incredibly hard to hit the temple of your target. If I had come by myself, everything would have been over by now. I hadn't realized that I couldn't shoot a gun until I enrolled in the police academy. Every time I tried to aim, I couldn't calm down and concentrate. No matter how hard I trained, I couldn't improve my shooting and performance. The academy even sent me to a specialized psychologist, and although we didn't find anything wrong, unsurprisingly, I got an O in my final shooting test. O? N-O? You mean? Not A-O? What? I guess that's good? Or is that like O out of all 26 letters of the alphabet, A being the best and Z being the worst? I don't know. If it weren't for my outstanding grades in the combat test convincing the academy to make an exception for me, I would probably still be wasting bullets in training. Guns must simply not agree with me. There couldn't be any other explanations. The custodian had gone back to the police station. All we needed to do was wait for the reinforcements from the station and clean up the mess. By the way, even though I wasn't good with them, I could still appreciate guns. I still thought that it would feel great if I could have one with me all the time. I was playing with a gun that I had just picked up off the ground. It must have belonged to one of these losers. When I was feeling a little drunk with the power in my hand, a stranger walked out of the shadows behind the cargo container. It was a huge muscular man in his 40s or 50s. He was wounded, but both the tattoo on his bald head and the scars at the corners of his eyes were telling me that he would not be afraid of a fight. I held the gun steady and pointed it at him, when Lieutenant Kang casually said, "He's one of us." Lieutenant Kang was sitting on top of some passed-out lackey in a pink striped shirt. He was holding half of a cigarette in his hand, and he had just exhaled a puff of murky white smoke. I was shocked. This person didn't look like a police officer at all. Well, I suppose they were all birds of a feather. Unit 4 must have plenty of weirdos like them. I lowered the gun, stood straight, and gave him a salute. "Sir, I am Chang Yongmin. I was just assigned to Unit 4 a week ago. It is a pleasure to meet you." So that I suppose explains the whole, like, why he's been talking about, now he's saying he's only been there a week, but I believe in a previous letter he had said that he had been there for, I think, a couple weeks, like 3 weeks or something like that. I'm not sure. "Pleasure to meet you too." It wasn't the hulking officer who had responded. It was Choi Yo-han who was standing behind him with a gun pushed up against his head. "Did you all think it was fucking over?" He held his gun against the officer's temple while rubbing his own bruised one with the other hand. Crap. I had somehow forgotten that he had only been shot by a toy gun. So what is the toy gun then? If he had been shot by it, is that just like like those beanbag shotguns, but pistol form somehow? Maybe shooting rubber bullets, I guess. How could I have made such an idiotic mistake again? Lieutenant Kang slowly stood up too. The cigarette was still burning, but he had no interest in smoking it again. Hahaha. Now those are the kind of looks that I like. Kid, raise your gun. I wasn't sure what trick he was trying to play, but I involuntarily held onto it more firmly. I'm giving you two choices. Your lieutenant, or this meathead here. Use your gun to make your pick. Put a bullet in his head, and then when you're done, don't play any tricks on me. What? I must have heard it wrong. I had never been trained for this scenario back at the academy. Choi Yohan chuckled. Oh, also, I'm the kind of person who doesn't have too much patience. So I'll give you 5 seconds. How about that? Let's begin the countdown. 5. I slowly raised the gun while my arms suddenly felt like they had just been filled with lead. On one side, it was the senior officer whom I had just met. On the other side, it was Lieutenant Kang. What kind of sick joke was this? I must calm down and think. There must be some other way. But I only had 5 seconds. Well, you only have 4 seconds now. 4? Yep, like I said. Lieutenant Kang was standing to my right. The cigarette in his hand had already burnt out. He was standing there, completely motionless like a statue. Our eyes met in midair, but time kept flowing. My hands were shaking. 3? I pointed my gun at Choi Yohan. I tried my best to aim at his forehead. Could I make the shot? 2? The officer looked at me calmly. He seemed to be telling me with his eyes, I trust you. But I couldn't trust myself. 1? Huge drops of sweat were rolling down my face. No. I couldn't make it. I gave up. The officer's head exploded right in front of my eyes. Then the gun barrel turned to me, with a sliver of smoke still coming out of it. Choi pulled the trigger. The bullet hit me and knocked me over, onto the ground. Kang Bak-ya, how does it feel watching your men die in front of you, huh? I felt my eyelids getting heavier and heavier. I couldn't see the expression on Lieutenant Kang's face. The voice of Choi mocking and taunting the lieutenant was getting farther and farther away, too. A few weeks later, I woke up in the Busan Metropolitan Hospital. Tubes were coming out from every part of my body. The EKG machine was beeping steadily next to my bed. How did he survive? I mean, I don't know where he got shot, but I'm assuming that Choi and Kang just left him there, that they didn't take him to the hospital. So, I mean, I don't know how quickly medical services could have responded, but Captain Gong told me when he visited that I was the only survivor from the warehouse. How could this have happened? Someone please tell me that this was all just a dream. Please, Buddha. They were all good people. Please. Please help them. Chang Gongmen. Okay. Like I said, I don't even want to fucking do that letter. That's really fucked up. Okay, I went a little bit over. I am at 20 minutes now after starting my recording rather than the 15 minutes like I had planned on doing. Holy fuck. Park's situation has gone completely fucked. And I'm gonna leave that part in probably, but I may, I'm most definitely gonna blur that part because it wasn't entirely graphic, but it was still pretty fucking graphic. Wow, okay. I'm gonna go record another episode of Cry of Fear, because holy shit, that was fucked up. Okay, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sorry that letter came out of fucking nowhere. They said there was gonna be some disturbing stuff, but holy shit. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.